Imagine you have a plot of land and you're building a house on that plot because a hurricane is coming.
It sure
A
is.
hurricane is coming. A hurricane is coming. And you want to build the strongest foundation possible. And that's not, we'll figure out your hormones when that comes, but right now, muscle, bones, stress reduction, sleep, resilience, boundaries, community, love, mental stimulation, all of that together.
Sure.
And then it's going to help you build this solid foundation where you're not going to suffer as much, hopefully.
Right.
If you need help with hormones, we're here for you. We got you. And then that'll set you up for success for the next 35 years.
Hey everybody, I'm Lori Schulweiss.
And I'm Jen Giamo.
And welcome to a very special episode of Everybody Talks, your favorite podcast about the wide world of wellness. And today's episode features in-person interviews with your favorite doctors. We had the opportunity to attend the Women's Health and Menopause Summit hosted by Schuyler Grant from Luminescence along with Commune, both groundbreaking companies for women's health and longevity.
So if you've ever felt like no one gave you the guidebook to this part of life, midlife, the hot flashes, the sleepless nights, the weight gain, the shifts in your body and your identity, you're absolutely right. No one did until now. And it's never too late.
We are bringing it all to you, leading female doctors, scientists, and wellness experts who are revolutionizing how we talk about and approach women's health.
In today's episode, you'll hear from Schuyler Grant, Dr. Andrea Matsumara, Dr. Vonda Wright, Dr. Mary Claire Haver, Tamsen Fadal, Dr. Sharon Malone, and Dr. Kelly Casperson. We're getting real about hormones, intimacy, identity, and everything in between with warmth, wisdom, and no shame.
Whether you're in perimenopause, navigating menopause, or supporting someone who is, these conversations will leave you feeling informed, empowered, and most importantly, not alone. Because you're not alone and you're definitely not crazy. So we're going to begin now with Schuyler Grant. Hey, we're here with Schuyler Grant, founder of the company Luminescence and also the organizer of the
Women's Health and Menopause Summit. Okay, so we do want to know more about you. So you have spent decades, right, building this community.
A lot of decades.
I'm
pretty old.
You're not old.
I'm pretty well seasoned.
You are seasoned, but you started with yoga. You also were co-founder of Wanderlust.
I was.
Which is very cool. What was the catalyst that made you realize that you wanted to shift your focus towards this platform specifically for women in menopause?
Well, it's interesting. I have a sort of roundabout answer. I'm still very much in the yoga space. I still have my yoga studio here in New York, even though I live in LA. And that's really it's my first love. Well, just my first love. but yoga's my second
But he's
love.
not here.
But yoga's my always affair. How's that?
Okay, I like that.
But I started making, courses, and then through making yoga content, I started making more breathwork content. Because as I got older, I slowed down a little bit and started craving both a more, a stronger, more rigorous practice, and also wanting more balance with a more yin-like, juicy, breath-based practice. And I really still enjoy both, but I found myself kind of naturally leaning into a little more slowness, a little more interior space. And then through that, I started making content that way, and then that kind of led me more into the world of people who are doing, more healing work, which then it's sort of naturally pivoted towards people who are more in the traditional healthcare space. So I am in no way a doctor or any kind of scientist or healthcare professional. I simply find it fascinating, and I am really more like the two of you. I'm really more platform people than I'm an expert in anything really smart. The only medicine that I dispense is the medicine of the breath. That's all I've got for people.
Well,
but that's free and cheap, and you can use it anywhere, and doesn't give you a hangover and has no side effects. So I think that's a pretty good pill to pop.
And I was going to say, and that could be very therapeutic.
It can be
very
extremely therapeutic.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of science behind that, actually, which we can get into if you want.
Yeah, definitely. Tell us a little bit about Luminescence.
So Luminescence started as our first stage show, similar to what we're doing tonight here at the Palladium. But it was really focused in a broader context on women's health and longevity. And we did our first event in February in Los Angeles. It was a really intense time to come together because you probably remember there was those awful fires about a month before. And it was amazing, actually. It was a really, really sweet event. There was about 1,500 people came together at the Saban Theater. And
Oh my goodness, yeah.
and it really was as much a community event as it was a women's health event. And then we're doing this Luminescence show focused on menopause here and in Austin. And that's partly because it's, women's health, like men's health, is so broad. I mean, and when we got at our first show, we obviously were touching upon perimenopause and menopause, but we were like, there's so much to say about this. So we thought, like, okay, well, how is it to really focus a show and just dial into one subject around women's health? And obviously, menopause and perimenopause are a huge topic right now, and there are so many incredible doctors and educators to platform around it. So that was the idea around these two shows. Probably our next stage shows won't be focused on menopause necessarily, because that's not the idea. Is to continue to talk around all the breadth of women's health issues. Right. From a forward-looking standpoint, Luminescence is now pivoting into being a podcast. I'm coming into your space,
my
ladies.
space. Love it. I love it.
Watch out.
Room for everyone.
There's
everyone.
so much room.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited about it because I love to talk to people, and I've been on a lot of podcasts, but I've never hosted my own.
Okay.
So it's
a lot of work, P.S.
It's a lot of work.
I know. I mean, Jeff has a podcast, and I watch how much work it is. So I'm a little prepared.
In an event like this, how do you ensure that the audience is getting kind of like scientific backed information from all these doctors? And it's like it's more of like Wanderlust is more of like a community, and you're building this community, but this also has kind of like a science side to it.
It's not a festival. It's a show. And it's really just, I mean, it's a learning event. Yeah. It's like, honestly, so much. I mean, all the information that will be transmitted tonight is in various podcasts.
Yeah.
I mean, we have so much incredible information at our disposal because of this amazing world we live in. It's also deeply confusing because there's all kinds of misinformation and semi-information. And so sifting through the grifting, as Jeff says, is sometimes hard. And so, we feel like part of our job is to find people who really are science-backed and smart and aren't just, selling supplements.
Yeah, you have quite the
lineup.
You definitely have
which is a lot of people.
It is a lot of
people. You have the people.
I really do believe that in-person learning is so much more impactful. Yeah. And so you asked what I hope people come away with.
Yeah.
It's really that, the information that you take away from something like this is only going to be reinforced by what you follow up on and what you need. I mean, like there'll be so much, and you'll be like, oh, I should do that, and I should learn more about that. So you learn 1,000 things, and then maybe you take away 20. But I think with the roundness of the program of women who are speaking tonight, I think it will touch on so many of the levels of, in this case, menopausal health, which is like post-menopausal health, which also is, I mean, it's not like it's pre or, I mean, it all intermingles together. And a lot of it, I think, is just planting seeds. So you hear something and then you forget it, you walk away, you don't even remember that you know it. And then somewhere else you hear it again and you're like, oh, I heard that from Vonda Wright, that doctor at that show. And yeah, I want to look more into that. Or you write something down and then you know to go talk to your doctor about it, or you're like, I just learned tonight that my doctor sucks.
Right.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing I learned tonight is that I need a new doctor.
Yes.
I mean,
I hope every woman
if
walks
we walk
away with that.
with 50
yes.
I
people
hope that-
tonight who are like, "Whoa, I
I
gotta
hope every
fire my
woman
doctor,
does.
and I need
Yeah.
to demand more."
Yeah.
Because that really is the only way we change our healthcare system. Is women say, "Okay, no fucking more of this."
Yes.
Yeah.
Bogus.
Yes.
The NIH funding women's health at 10%.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
Like the consumers
Yes.
of
Yes.
healthcare and
51% of the
adjacent
population.
and the
Right,
supplements
yeah.
and 51%.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so, I mean, really it's about like creating, I mean, it's such a hackneyed word, but really it's about empowerment. And that mostly just means that you feel like you have the right to ask for what we deserve.
Yeah.
And you have the information. Like when they come to a show like this, they're going to, whether they take away, a small percentage of it or whatever, but they're going to walk away with some kind of information that
Yes.
is
So
the-
you know what to ask.
You know what to
That you
ask.
know.
Yes. Every fucking woman who is lucky enough
Yes.
to get to our age is going to go through menopause.
Going to go through menopause.
I mean, come on,
I know.
it's
We were saying last
it's
night
totally
to somebody,
bananas.
it's like
Yes.
100% of women, 100%.
Yes. I mean,
everybody.
if we make
if
it
you've
to
lived that
50-ish,
long,
yes.
It's a crazy statistic.
It's bananas.
There's no statistic that's 100%.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally.
And think about, like, with our lifespan, how much longer we are, post-menopausal, if that's even
Right.
a word. Like,
Yeah.
how much longer the second half of our
years.
life is
Yeah.
versus that first
Yeah.
those fertility years.
Yeah, and how
Well, I
much
like that.
longer we expect
Right.
to flourish.
Right. And I always like that phrase that you're living for a health span, not a lifespan.
Yeah, it's a good
you know,
one.
which is
I'm with
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. No, I think this is
Yeah.
such a great event. Thank you
Yes.
so much.
Thank you so
Thanks
much for
talking
taking
with
the
us.
time. We are here with the Dr. Mary Harry.
Mary Harry.
Mary Harry. Listen, when I was a kid, my brothers, I have 6 brothers.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Mary Harry,
I know.
Mary Scary,
Yep.
Of course.
is Mary There, because
Yes.
they call on the phone, is Mary
Oh my
There, is
God.
Mary
Oh
There, is
my
Mary There,
God.
Mary the Claire.
Yes. Oh my God.
But yeah, Mary Scary and Mary Harry were.
Okay, well, we are here with the Dr. Mary Claire Haver, who has transformed the world of menopause,
Yes,
I want to say.
absolutely.
And that's putting it mildly.
Yeah.
I mean, you burst onto the scene. Your book is fantastic.
Amazing.
We both read your book.
Yes.
And so now we're here at this menopause summit, and we're on the fly.
We're on
what,
the fly.
What can we ask you that hasn't been asked? I mean, about
Well,
menopause.
I'm writing a new book.
Ah, all right. Let's
So
talk about that.
manuscript is in. I actually got the first galley last night, and it is the new perimenopause.
There you go.
The new perimenopause.
So it's the little
Yeah.
sister,
Right.
Yeah.
though it's probably 100 pages longer than the new menopause.
Yeah. What was the most surprising thing that you found after your book came out from women?
I knew the book would do well, not because of my social media following or anything, because by the thousands and thousands, people were begging me to write this book, basically saying, I'm tired of chasing you all over social media. Can you just put it all down in one place? I mean, and so my first book, like published book, was The Galveston Diet.
Right.
And the minute the manuscript was in, I started out in the space talking about weight gain and menopause, and that just kind of lit the world on a little bit of fire.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then as I'm discussing menopause, the ears perk up, and people are like, menopause, you said menopause out loud? And then suddenly I'm getting 9 out of 10 questions were not about how much fiber do I eat, or what's your best diet plan, or what should I eat today. It was, please help me understand what is happening with my body.
Wow.
So I knew it would do well. I didn't know it would do that well, right? And so we #1 New York Times bestseller,
Yes.
and so immediately, the whole book writing process takes forever, right?
Right.
You get an idea, you have to get an agent, you go find an editor, they accept your proposal, then you write it takes about a year to write the book, because these are heavily science.
Sure.
books.
Yeah. Sure.
Yep.
And I guess the biggest shock to me was I was so ready to be done, and then it's 6 months of editing and back and forth and, artwork and all the things. And then the book comes out and you go on a book promotion. I could not wait to write another book.
Wow.
Yeah.
You just wanted to start all over again.
I kept saying to my husband, Am I crazy? He's like, girl, just get it out. you know?
Yeah.
And now that the manuscript is into the new perimenopause, I think I'm pregnant again.
I'm like, you are. You kind of
I
are.
haven't even, the baby isn't even born.
I know, my
It
God.
doesn't come out till April, and I'm literally sketching out
Wow.
the new post-menopause,
Yeah.
which I think I'm going to call unpaused.
Oh,
I
I,
like
love
that.
that.
So I'm which will be the big, so we have baby bear, mama bear, and papa
Yeah.
bear,
Right.
so
In like,
I love that.
not the
the
same
3
order that
phases.
you.
So this will be the Minospan book.
Yeah.
I don't want to
A
call it health
trilogy. You have a trilogy.
So but when my agency says she's going to shake her head, we're not there yet. But I'm already excited about.
so
exciting.
For me, people were begging for information on perimenopause. Okay, I've got that. It's coming out in print, and hopefully that will help millions of women not be blindsided, right? Because I heard last night an analogy, and I think it's so brilliant for perimenopause. When we talk about habits and lifestyle and things that we should be doing, everyone's like, what should I do to get ready? What should I do to get ready? I'm like, imagine you have a plot of land and you're building a house on that plot because the hurricane is coming.
It sure
A
is.
hurricane is coming. A hurricane is coming. And you want to build the strongest foundation possible. And that's not, we'll figure out your hormones when that comes, but right now, muscle, bones, stress reduction, sleep, resilience, boundaries, community, love, mental stimulation, all of that together.
Sure.
And then it's going to help you build this solid foundation where you're not going to suffer as much, hopefully. Okay. If you need help with hormones, we're here for you. We got you, baby. And then that'll set you up for success for the next 35 years. Menopause is one day.
I know.
It's one day. Official menopause is one day in your life. It is exactly 1 year after your last menstrual period, but it represents so much more. So much more.
It's it really represents it's so corny to call it a change, but it is a change because it changes your whole mental, and how you think about
your brain.
yourself.
Everything.
It rewires your brain.
Yourself.
Yeah.
Do you find that younger women are receptive to this idea? They
So
wanna
much
learn?
more.
Really?
Like last night, the room was filled with millennials.
Yeah.
And they are just embracing it. They're talking about it. Perimenopause is not a taboo subject. They're laughing about it. They're commiserating. They're sharing so much more. And thank God for us.
Yeah.
I'm assuming we're all in Gen X.
Yes.
And I don't know how old you are, but
I actually boost you up. I'm the tail end of a boomer.
a boomer. And then we are like we kick the door down.
Yeah.
I'm 57, so I think I'm still Gen X.
You're still
You
Gen
are.
X,
You
yeah.
are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we kick the door down for them, and they're just running through the door. Yes, let's
great.
figure this out. Let's do this. It's inevitable. We get it. But we don't have to suffer.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And they're learning how to, what things to ask for when they go to the doctor. That was my biggest thing. It was
They really understand more than our generation did that they have to be CEOs of their own healthcare.
Yeah.
They have to be proactive. They're not just going to go and calmly sit in a clinician's office and be like, tell me what to do.
Right.
That I thought that chapter in your book really spoke to me about finding the doctor, how to find the doctor, what to ask, because I think that is a foreign notion. And I go into doctors, any doctor, not just like a gynecologist, any doctor I walk in, and I'm ready to be like, okay, how are you going to help me? Tell me, this is what's wrong. What are you going to do for me? And that changed my whole outlook of going to doctors and finding the right ones.
Yeah.
And just knowing that some of the symptoms that you have, instead of dismissing them or thinking like, oh, that's just, I should go through that. That's normal.
Right.
Yes.
That it's not. And it doesn't
Normal
have to
means
be.
common.
Right.
It doesn't mean it's okay.
It doesn't mean optimal.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And
So-
once you start doing the things,
Right.
I was just saying to Tamsen that I started HRT right around when we started this podcast. We started talking to some menopause experts and doctors, and I was having symptoms I didn't know were perimenopause.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
I mean, that's like whatever the new menopause about, like
Yeah.
the
Yes.
70-something symptoms,
Yes.
Right.
with all
But
the
you
data.
had no idea.
Totally.
And then
Yeah.
people are like, my itchy ears?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
My frozen shoulder.
Yeah. And I'm like,
Yeah.
There's
Oh,
a
crazy.
there is a correlative there.
Yeah.
So.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
That's been like
Yeah.
life changing.
And all these doctors were like, 40-year-old women just get this. I'm like, did you ever fucking ask why I need it? There's a reason.
Right. It's not
Totally.
Common in middle-aged women.
Right.
right.
Yeah.
What's that commonality?
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
What
Yeah.
happens to all women between the ages of 45
Right.
and 55?
Exactly.
Ovarian failure.
So now we're at a menopause summit. You've spoken at many
Mm-hmm.
functions. Like, what do you hope that women walk away with?
With
What's
agency.
the knowledge?
With
Knowledge,
agency,
yeah.
with hope, with new solutions, with a toolkit, with skills on how to listen, how to understand. Hopefully, some questions are answered. Hopefully, we've tamping down some fears. Dr. Malone and I are gonna talk about myths in menopause and do some myth busting for them, and that they feel confident and to maybe fire the clinician they have who isn't menopause educated, which isn't that clinician's fault. We're doing a horrific job of training our clinicians on how to take care of women once they're done having children, once their ovaries aren't functioning anymore. So I would love to see, a more robust women's health curriculum outside of reproduction.
Right. Right.
We're not little men with breast and uterus.
That's right.
We are
Amen
very,
to
very
that.
different, down
Very
to
different.
very from our pancreas, from our brain cells to our tit cells.
Well, all the research that's happening now, and what Dr. Mosconi was talking about with the brain receptors and the estrogen receptors in our, that is fascinating to me.
So I sat at my first menopause conference. It was in LA 3 years ago now.
Wow.
And I was just there talking about Galveston diet and nutrition. I was on a panel with 5 other doctors. I spoke for 2 minutes. But I sat in the audience and I saw Lisa Mosconi speak and I was floored. Watch the glucose uptake change across the menopause transition. And I was like, what?
Yes.
Yeah. We're rewiring our brains?
Yes.
Is this why I don't know where my keys are?
Yes.
And, and I'm so irritable all the time and I'm
mean-
snapping at everyone. So, and then I heard Dr. Malone and Dr. Blooming and Dr. Tavros talk. And I was like, what?
I know.
I mean, I'm a board certified OBGYN.
Yeah.
I do my CME every single year religiously. I focus on the questions around, clinic and the patients I take care of. There was almost nothing on menopause. It's an afterthought. And here are people completely telling me that this stuff has been known for a long time.
Right.
And I was so furious with the American Board of OB/GYN for not making this a priority.
Making it a priority.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it should be. I mean, I hope it's starting to change. It seems like it's
I
starting
feel
to
But I
like
don't know
events
if
like
OB/GYN
this
should do that. We're busy.
Yeah.
We're delivering babies. We're doing surgery.
I
And now you want me to prevent osteoporosis?
I
So I'm like, it should be part of the curriculum of every single clinician who touches a woman.
Yes, I agree with
100%.
that. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for
stopping
popping
us.
in and chatting with us. We really, really appreciate it. We are with the Tamsen Fadal. Yes, you heard me right. Who's better known as Ms. Menopause. She's here.
Pioneer.
Pioneer,
of
one of the
menopause.
first on the scene. Started as the TikTok fairy godmother. Then now,
I got a little
look
bit
at
older.
you now.
Got a little
Look at you
older.
now.
It's so good to
Honest
see you both.
age.
So nice to see you. We dragged you into this room.
I love it.
I'm happy to be here.
You were
What's
very
going
hesitant
on?
to come in. You're like, who
I didn't know what
wants
was
to sit in there?
Who's seeing me?
I didn't know what was
Thank
happening.
you.
and
Thank
you for the joy.
Thanks for sitting down.
popping in here. Tell us all about, how should we start?
Let's talk about the new
perimenopause
documentary.
Yeah, we did the M Factor.
Yeah,
you
which
guys
was
were so
fantastic.
gracious.
M
So
Fantastic.
gracious.
Was
Yes.
amazing.
Thank you. And so we were super excited because that went around to like 1,000 cities in 45 countries. It's crazy. And, but we kept hearing that everyone wanted to talk about perimenopause.
Yeah.
And we went, okay. So we thought maybe in a year or two. And then we realized it was getting louder and louder.
Yeah.
And so we set out to do that. And it's a new film. It's coming out to communities because we give it out to communities for free for several months. So we're doing that in January. And so we've been all over the country now interviewing doctors again and men this time, talking to men. Yes.
Really? What do men have to
women's
say?
group.
What
I
do
know,
men have
right?
to say?
What do they have to do with this menopause?
I'm curious what their take is.
You know what's interesting to me? Everywhere I go recently, I'm asked how do I tell my partner now? And I think it's because we're getting so, not everybody, but a lot of us are getting so comfortable finally talking about it, finally understanding what it means to advocate for ourselves in the doctor's office and insisting that we get better care, better doctors, somebody who listens, better options. Then now we're like, okay, I understand all this, but now I need to explain it to either the person I'm living with, working with, friends with, dating. And so men are asking questions too. Men want to know what's happening. I think they think we have this secret club going on. This hot club going on.
We kind of do.
Very hot.
But I found them I was at first men don't need to be in this conversation. And now I realize they have to be in this conversation.
Sure.
So they're asking questions. I want to know how they can help.
and wanting to understand it a little bit better.
Because I feel like they have no clue.
No,
Like,
well, we didn't have any clue.
We didn't have any clue
How
either.
could they,
You're
right?
right. You're right.
And I think that as we look, all of our voices are contributing to this loud movement saying, I'm not taking this anymore. I insist that, somebody listens. And if you're not going to listen, I'm going to find somebody else who does. Right. So that's the first thing. And I think that, men have just kind of been trained almost by the media and by culture that it's like a ha-ha kind of funny, you whisper about it, it's behind closed doors. And I think they're quickly realizing like this affects everything. Like it really does affect everything. And so I'm excited about that because we work with men, we live with men, whatever's going on, even if you're out there dating or you're meeting men wherever you're at. Yeah. So we're talking about that in the film, and then we're trying to help women really not get to where we were, right? Yeah. Not come up on it and go, oh, these are all the things I should have done for 10 years. And instead say, these are the things I need to do.
Yeah.
Sure.
And are women are younger, like what is the age that you're kind of seeing for perimenopause, and are these women, pursuing this information? Are they interested?
Yeah, that's a good question. We're seeing a lot of women in their mid-30s, which I think is fascinating. But it is also that benchmark that they should be starting to have this conversation. Yeah. But women, even in their early 30s, are talking about it, and because they're curious and they want to walk into a doctor's office. And I was talking with Dr. Vonda Wright last night. They want to walk into a doctor's office and they want that information. They want to be educated. They want to know, what's going on with them. And then they want to bring it in and say, like, here's what my tracker says. Here's what my period says. Here's what my blood levels say. Now tell me what I can do about it and help me go to the next step. Yeah. So I think I wasn't thinking about that at 35. No. I didn't even know.
No. And it's funny because I work in an office, as you know, with pretty much 90% women of all ages. But I'm the one who's like, to my 32-year-old friend, I'm like, yes, think about this now. Please think about this now. Yeah.
I know.
Please start
do this
doing
now.
the things.
Yeah.
Because I just was curious because I would, myself at that age, I would be like,
oh my gosh, me too. I think perimenopause might feel a little bit lighter. Maybe. Might not feel quite so heavy as menopause. Like menopause is like, menopause. Yeah. I think peri is like, ooh, it's your peri. And so I'm hopeful anyway. That's how it sounds to me. I would have rather somebody have said that to me instead of like perimenopause.
Right.
But I think that it doesn't feel quite so looming, it feels like, hey, I can still do something about it.
I'm still not quite there.
I'm not quite there. Mm-hmm. And then we want women who are hearing they're in menopause to not feel like they're there. We want them to feel like, oh my gosh, okay, this is my next step toward what what that next season is. So,
but just having all this information now is so great. It's we didn't have that.
No, I was going to say, like, you're on the circuit. Like, this is the menopause
circuit. There's a circuit going on.
Last night we were at,
but you are too.
We are.
We are.
We're trying to be. So, like, when you meet the women at all these events, like the one that we're at right now, what are you hoping that they're, like, walking away with? Are they, like, hearing what you're saying? Is it soaking in?
It's so funny. I've never been asked that question. I think that they hear what we're saying. I still think it's difficult to even imagine that you're going through that because, perimenopause, obviously, you're still having your period. And when I was still having my period, I'm like, well, then who cares?
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I think that that's hard. But the good thing is they're looking for those other symptoms, and they're willing and educated with that information, like armed with that information to go talk to a doctor and say, I'm not sleeping. I feel like I'm gaining weight. I feel like I'm working out and it's not sticking the same way. What can I do? Or, working out is another thing that they can start doing right now. They don't have to, it doesn't feel like a thing that you do when you're older. It's what they need to do right now. So I do feel like it's received well, and especially because I have young women stop me on the street like, thank you so much for helping me learn about it to talk to my mom. And that's really cool to me.
Yeah.
That's very cool because that's 2 generations that we, that we talk to.
It's funny that you say that because before we came here, I was on the phone with my mom, and who's 83, about to be 84. And she's like, well, now what are you doing today? And I was telling her, and she goes, wait, women that young? Because I was saying perimenopause, and I go, Mom, women are having babies later, and so they can have a baby and literally go into perimenopause. She's like, oh my God, I never thought of that.
I know.
And she's
We opened Pat's eyes.
Yeah, but you're right. Like, but who did think about that?
Nobody talked about it.
We didn't talk about it. And my mom never talked about it with
Right.
me. It was like
Right.
this subject that was just
Yeah.
no one talked about it. It was like, that's for old people.
It's
And
exactly right.
Yeah.
Or to talk about with somebody, but not each other.
And not out loud.
Not
Right.
out
Not
loud.
out loud.
It's funny. We're in the theater district, and Audra McDonald was part of the first documentary.
Yes.
And the reason she was is because she was on Instagram,
Right.
and she had written this whole thing talking about how she went from having her children and then rolling right into these symptoms of perimenopause, and just how difficult it was to deal with the symptoms, not knowing what it was, what direction it was. And she was so raw and open about it on Instagram. And I never forgot that post. And I've seen a lot of posts in my algorithm. It's like, here's some more menopause.
Here's some more.
But I never forgot that because it was so very clear to me of how it happens and how confusing it can be when you're in one season, right? And you're rolling right into the other one.
Or not even knowing what those symptoms mean. Like I remember I was getting those headaches. And I would never have connected that to perimenopause until we started learning about this. And then I went on HRT and I haven't had a headache since.
Oh wow!
Oh yeah.
Really? Yeah. So did they say it was estrogen loss? Is that what it was? Isn't that
I was getting like just
migraines
this little,
or
maybe it was
Yeah, it was like in your. I remember you were
right above
describing
my
it.
eye, and I was like, and it would happen every time, like right around my period, and I would get, and I'm like, oh my god, I don't know what this is.
Wow.
And
that nothing surprises me anymore to hear, but it's just
so many of the symptoms that you would never. The burning tongue was the one that
know.
you said.
I
was
know.
like, wait,
I know. Isn't that
Itchy
crazy?
ear, like all the
itchy ear happens to me still.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that does still happen to me.
Yeah.
And then I was like, frozen
Shoulder.
What? When
the
people
frozen
started
shoulder.
talking about it, and I had never experienced it, and then when I finally did, I'm like, dang, I'm experiencing
Yeah.
that one now too.
Yeah.
But I think to have something where you're not running around, and look, not everything is going to be perimenopause, obviously, but so you're not running around feeling like something's wrong with you.
Something's wrong with you.
Or something more serious.
More serious.
Which is
yeah.
really
Instead
scary.
of just this natural process that happens to
But
all of us.
thank you guys for what you've been doing and putting this out there.
We do in our very,
Constantly.
rigmarole. We keep rolling on one after the other,
Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah. Well, thank you for stopping.
Thank you for
in
stopping in and
We
chatting with
always love
us.
it.
We love
You're
you.
going to come back and
love
talk
it.
to us more.
Yes.
But thank you.
I'll be back.
We're here with Dr. Sharon Malone, who's going to debunk some of the myths around the research and tell us what we can expect in the future.
All right, so we are going to jump right in.
Okay.
We know that you are an OBGYN, but you are no longer seeing patients. What made you kind of step away from that and jump into this bigger piece with Alloy Health?
I have always done menopause, so this is not really a career pivot for me.
Okay.
I mean, for 30 plus years, menopause has always been part of my practice because when I started in 1992, I inherited a practice where there were two older physicians who were retired. Okay. So from the very first day I got there, I was taking care of 80-year-olds and 18-year-olds. So you get up to speed. And then I'm of the generation that we were actually taught about menopause. We were actually trained in how to prescribe, how to manage. And that sort of went away starting about 2002 after this study. Yeah. So when I decided to leave my private practice, it was really COVID. It was part of the COVID resignation. And, I tell people, because it is true, I said they should have never let me have 3 months off in a row. Because I was like, you know what? I do not hate this.
I think we all kind of felt like that.
I'm like, I'm good. So, and then, but when I left, I really did not have a plan. And, things happen. And it was because I was on Michelle Obama's podcast that summer of 2020, that's how the founders of Alloy and Fullenwider and Monica Molyneux, that's how they found me.
Wow.
And it was just like so very serendipitous that I moved from clinical practice to being the medical advisor at Alloy. Wow. Thanks, Obama.
I know. Wow, I didn't realize. I knew that you were on her podcast. I didn't know that was the evolution of it.
Had never even thought about doing anything like that. And then they found me and I said, funny that you should ask.
Yeah.
Timing was good.
Yeah, absolutely. So having, been in this space then for a long time, what have you learned about the barriers that women are facing, or hopefully we're dismantling those, but that women are facing with access to care?
Well, the problem is that we are really facing a 23-year drought in terms of physicians not being trained in how to treat menopause and how to prescribe. And that's unfortunate because that means an entire generation of women have been disadvantaged by not having access. And there was a lot of misinformation and fear about menopause. And in all honesty, my prescribing practices and how I manage patients never changed through that time. But what became difficult was trying to convince women that it was not dangerous.
Yes.
Even with the good information and having access to a physician, they were still so very hesitant because of the stickiness of those findings. When you say breast cancer, that pretty much ends the discussion for most women.
Yeah, I'm a victim of that. I'm 62 now, and my mom died of breast cancer. Breast cancer runs rampant in my family, and so when I got, it was never even offered, discussed. It's not until we started this podcast that I was like, oh, you mean I could still have that? I could still do that? You know, and it's really, I really feel behind the eight ball kind of, because I was denied that health service.
And we want to make sure that the next generation of women does not live with that, because it's unfortunate. And I have watched so many women suffer through this, and even trying to have this conversation, it was difficult to convince them.
It's interesting because, you know, like Lori said, we've been doing this podcast now for 2 years. We've interviewed a lot of doctors, and we've learned so much. And I started on HRT. I'm still sort of perimenopausal. I'm sort of like getting to the end.
I wanted to hurry up already.
It's a long process.
Yes.
And you know,
Yes.
that's the thing that women don't really understand. They think, oh, well, I'll just get through it. And I'm like, you got a decade or so?
Right.
It can take a long time to be
Yes.
miserable.
I know. I remember when someone older than me, and I was like having hot flashes, and they're like, I'm like, how long does this last? She's like, I'm 70, I still have them. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
Exactly.
But I mean, I have to say, since I started on HRT, I have not had, little tiny, like maybe breakthrough symptoms here and there, but have never had a hot flash.
Yeah. Crazy.
I mean, it's remarkable how I feel.
Isn't that
Yes.
amazing?
Yes.
You know, I hear it time and time again. It's like, wait a minute, I feel great. I'm like, told you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and I feel like I also caught it before it became really, an issue. But I want to talk about the research and stuff too. I mean, we all know about the study that sort of like ruined this for everyone. But what do you think needs to happen, I guess, like at a policy level to kind of course correct now? Now that people are talking about this, but there were decades of neglect, right? So are you seeing any meaningful momentum in that area?
I want to say this, all is not lost, even from the WHI, which was, unfortunately, it was misinterpreted. But a lot of the information that we know about hormones really still comes from the WHI. You know, so it's not like it was all terrible. It wasn't. It's data, it was just misinterpreted. The patients were too old. If they had done the same thing and said, if you are older than 63 starting, because you could be anywhere from 50 to 79 and be in that study. And you have to ask yourself, how are you supposed to do a prevention study in a 79-year-old? I'm like, they pretty much have heart disease or you don't. And it's not anything you're going to do about it at that point to change it. And that was the problem. So I think that when we talk negatively about the WHI. Yes, that's true, the misinterpretation. But a lot of the good stuff that we know about HRT, we did get from the WHI. So, you know, all was not lost. It's just unfortunate that it got presented different.
In the way that it did. Yeah.
We're sitting in the audience, we're of that age range. You know, I'm looking around, I'm like, why is this woman here? Why is that woman here? So what do you want women to walk away with?
I want women to walk away with the notion that, one, aging does not have to be something to be dreaded. You know, you can get through this process healthfully. You can get through this process and be a whole person at the end. You don't have to think of yourself as like, oh, I'm diminished, or, you know, I'm just waiting to go sit in a rocking chair. You are not. You know, and I don't mind saying, because I'm like, we have to model healthy aging. You know, I'm 66 years old, you know, and I think I'm doing fine. I did a career shift at 62 and did something completely different. But to be able to do that requires you to be mentally alert. It requires you to have the physical stamina to do that. And if you've been suffering for a decade or more, a lot of women just don't have that opportunity. So I want women to walk into this phase of life really owning it, you know, feeling empowered and saying and showing women that, hey, it's not so bad over here on the other side. Don't cry for me, Argentina. I'm good.
That's great. Thank you so much. This was great.
We are here with famed urologist, Dr. Kelly Casperson, who's going to tell us all about why we are not broken.
Yes, so you have a podcast called You're Not Broken. As a urologist specializing in women's sexual health, what patterns do you see in women when their bodies are changing and they're going through menopause, and what is it that they're thinking? Like, I know for me, like, you feel like something's wrong with you rather than like this is a natural process. So tell us about that.
Yeah. So our lack of anatomy knowledge and body education is really what sets us up for failure, because we internalize the brokenness and we think I'm broken, I'm uniquely broken. What's fascinating is the amount of women who want to argue for their brokenness. So you say, you are not broken. They're like, yes, I am because X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, why are you fighting for that, right?
Yeah.
So what women don't know is that perimenopause and menopause, it is a natural decline of ovarian hormone function, or another way to say that is you're outliving the lifespan of your ovary. When that happens, your hormones in your body go down, and they go down everywhere. It's not just hot flashes and no more periods. Specifically in the pelvis, we need hormones to have clitoral function, labial function, vaginal function, urethral function, bladder function, and to prevent urinary tract infections, and to make sex comfortable, right? Penetrative intercourse comfortable. So what women don't know is that dysfunction with that, pain, sensitivity, burning, urinary frequency, urgency, recurrent urinary tract infections, can happen years after menopause, or it can happen in perimenopause. There's no specific timeline, but it's very common. 50 to 80% of women will experience genital urinary syndrome of menopause, or GSM.
Okay. Yeah.
Nobody talks about this.
Nobody talks about it.
No one talks about it.
Not one word.
I mean,
Silent.
Yeah.
so you talked to millions of women, had this conversation about sexual health. Once they do understand the physiology of this transition, what changes for them?
And then they say, why did nobody ever tell me?
Why didn't you ever tell me?
Yeah.
Yeah. And do their sex lives change? Do they find that
Oh, yeah.
they're having,
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because then they know, the treatment's simple. The cause is simple, the treatment's simple. We just simply need to give the hormones back to the pelvis to regain function. Now, some people have suffered for years. They have pretty significant dysfunction. We might have to do multiple things to make it better. And that's why we're on stages and we're on podcasts to say, hey, if you notice this, don't put it off for 7 years, right? Nip it in the bud, treat it when it's early. And we really talk, especially with vaginal estrogen, because it's so cheap, it's so safe, to maybe even consider it as preventative health. Because another thing women aren't told is that your labia will disappear, your clitoris might shrink, your orgasms might diminish, you may have pain with penetration. And we're like, why would you want that to happen before you do something preventative?
Why is it that, like, it's taken this long for us, and I don't know, maybe it's just me, to even understand that, like...
That's a thing.
Yeah.
Like, so many people suffer in silence, you know?
Because, the pelvis is shameful, right? So it's like you're not going to talk to your sister or your friend about it, right? Because it's a you issue if you have something going on. The medical system historically is very male driven, right? And women aren't really paid attention to if it's not about reproduction. Like, where's all the money? The money's in pregnancy, fertility, young women's issues. Even now, all of the private funding, like, very little is actually going into midlife issues. When GSM's, again, 50 to 90% of women. One of the top reasons that women go to the emergency department or primary care doctors is recurrent urinary tract infections. But only now in 2025 do we actually have guidelines for GSM, genital urinary syndrome of menopause, to say vaginal estrogen is the gold standard. There's no reason that you need to suffer or try to use lube or try to use coconut oil or try to use something else, because a lack of lube and coconut oil is not what caused this. Again, once we understand what the cause is, we understand what the treatment is.
Yes. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, we talk to so many functional medicine doctors about that, like getting to the root cause and not just putting Band-Aids on these things. So it's the same idea. You have said that women have been fed fear and confusion about hormones based on outdated science, right? So what specific piece of hormone misinformation do you find that you have to correct with people?
There's a million.
There's a million.
Like, way too many. Way too many.
Give me one.
You're too young to start hormones. You're too old to start hormones.
Okay.
You can't start hormones unless your periods are done. Hormones are trying to kill you or cause breast cancer. You have to stop them at a certain age. You can't be on both systemic estrogen and vaginal estrogen at the same time. Testosterone's a male hormone. Like, the list goes on and on.
Yeah.
And so for anybody who just tuned in, those are all myths.
They're all myths.
That's great. So what do you tell people to prevent all these things? Like you start young.
You can't prevent. The only way to prevent outliving your ovaries is to die before your ovaries.
Yeah.
Right?
I guess that's true.
So you got to think about
Yeah.
that because, that question is very similar to the question of, like, what's a natural replacement for your hormones? It's like hormones.
Hormones.
Yeah.
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 What's the best natural replacement for
Yeah.
testosterone? What's more natural than what your ovary already makes?
Yeah.
Right. Just replace. That is that 1-to-1. Right. 1-to-1.
Wow.
Ovary makes it. Just replace it. Just like your thyroid. Just like your pancreas.
Yes.
And how young can women start then?
I met a woman on the book tour this week. She went into premature ovarian, insufficiency at age 19. So that's the stereotype that, like, there's a too young. I joke and I say there's 2 ages that women are when they go to the doctor's office. They're too young for something or too old for something.
Yeah.
So you better go to the doctor on that very exact day that you're, like, the right age for something.
Is it ever too late to?
No, it's never too late to start.
Never too late.
Yeah.
That's your question.
That's always my question because I'm the older one.
But it's never too late. So how do you, there's all this information, I put in quotes, on social media about menopause and all these different things and the symptoms. And how do you explain to patients, like, how to distinguish between the messages that are legitimate, like legitimate medical guidance versus, like, all this other bullshit?
Yeah. So by and large, the physicians who are in this space, we will tell you our credentials up front. Right? I'm a board certified urologist, female hormone expert, blah, 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 blah. If it's really hard for you to find out what somebody's credentials are, or it seems that, not that they're hiding it, but they're just not putting it up front, that's usually a red flag that somebody might be trying to sell you something or get you to believe something that's not backed in actual science. The other thing on social media, a lot of doctors, when they say something, they'll usually cite the research, right? So it's like, don't take my word for it. Here's the paper. Here's the guideline. So those are really kind of quick and easy ways for people to know, because social media, you sometimes just can be pretty convincing, right? There's a lot of people on there who say completely dubious things.
Yeah.
But to throw the baby out with the bathwater and to say all social media is bad, no.
Right.
But if you see a large amount of doctors all kind of saying the same thing, that's one that's pretty grounded. But I think the other thing that people need to realize is the practice of medicine is an art, not a science. It's always changing. We know things now that we didn't know 50 years ago.
Yes.
Because I think a lot of women, they'll be like, why can't we just all agree on doing the same thing? And I'm like, we didn't come out of Toyota factories. Right? Like, we don't have an owner's manual.
Right.
Right. And it's like, you will not get any innovation if we all just decide, this is all we know, this is all there is, stop asking questions, right? So it's like, it's unrealistic to be like, why can't we all agree on something? Like, that's how you stifle innovation.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Like, if we just say this is what it is,
Yeah.
then there's no, like, what's next? What's the future? What's the cutting edge?
So you're out there in the world, you're here at this conference, at this summit.
Right.
What do you hope that women take away from tonight or any other speaking engagement that you...
I want them to get new ideas. I want them to get new ways of thinking. But I also want them to realize that the world's not going to change just because I showed up. Right? The world changes because women show up, and you email the FDA and you complain to your insurance company and you ask your employer to, have a good health plan that covers hormones. Like, change happens because the population says no more. The suffering's too much. Yeah. And it's not, we're leading the way, but we're not the ones who are going to change this for you. Like, this is your pledge as much as it's mine.
Yeah, they have to kind of take it. And that's what we've learned a lot on this podcast, just interviewing different doctors. And it's like, first of all, there's so many things I never knew about my own, like, personal health and my body, but about being an advocate for yourself, about asking the right questions and knowing what the right tests are. I mean, that's changed so much for me.
So much for me too. I mean,
Even
we're very lucky because we get to sit and speak with people like you. Our minds are opened up. We hear it. We know what we're supposed to be listening for. And
but even
so many people don't. Like, women I work with, I beg them to do things, and they're not listening to me.
No, it's trained passivity.
Yeah, and it's you're ingrained to listen to what your doctor told me this, I should do that. But even the advocacy part of it is like this confidence that, people want, like, friends want to take me to the doctor's appointment with them because they're like, you'll ask the questions and you'll, so I think that's great. But this is awesome. Thank you so much
for taking the time.
Taking the time.
I appreciate it. Hey, we're here with Dr. Andrea Matsumara, who's going to tell us all about our sleep in menopause.
Your expertise, your specialty. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do and why you're here at this midlife show.
Yeah, great. So my name is Andrea Matsumara, and I am a sleep medicine physician and a menopause care specialist. And I really focus on women's health, especially in midlife and sleep, because up to 79% of women who hit midlife have trouble sleeping.
Yes.
Over half of those women have an actual sleep disorder.
Look, I'm one of those women, for sure. My Oura ring tells me that pretty much every morning. But how do you differentiate a sleep disorder from just not sleeping well?
Well, typically, when people have trouble sleeping, there's some easy things that you can employ to help kind of, if you will, fix sleep. But there are some consistent sleep disorders in women that really go undiagnosed because women are typically dismissed. There's a delay in diagnosis. So a really common one is obstructive sleep apnea. So over 60% of women who are postmenopausal may in fact have sleep apnea. 90% of the women who are postmenopausal that have sleep apnea don't know that they have it.
Yes.
And that's because we present with different symptoms. So we don't have loud snoring, we don't have paused, witnessed apneas. We suffer from insomnia, fragmented sleep, mood disorders, anxiety, that kind of stuff. You wake up and you don't know if you're depressed because you're tired or you're tired because you're depressed. Right. And it could very well
You just
be,
described Jen.
and it could be sleep apnea.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's so interesting. And is that just a hormonal issue, or how is that? What do you?
So a lot of it has to do with it's not just normal aging per se.
Yeah.
Estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, they all play a role in supporting the structures of the back of the throat. And so when we have these dips in estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, we're getting floppier on the outside, we're also getting floppier on the inside.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Wow,
Okay?
that's great.
And so
That's funny.
So there's this increased risk. Plus we have fat distribution changes for us, and so that can lead to more sleep disordered breathing. And oftentimes in women, it's mild sleep apnea, which is what's causing all this fragmentation of sleep. And so it goes unchecked because we have normalized women to be poor sleepers.
Yeah.
Well, you start menstruating, you have trouble sleeping. You have children, you have trouble sleeping. You got sexually assaulted, you have trouble sleeping. You're taking care of somebody else, you have trouble sleeping. So then it gets normalized, and then it gets swept under the carpet.
Wow.
And is it true that just when you were talking about the softness in your body and stuff, and as we age, or I shouldn't say as we age, if we are gaining weight, let's just say, which sometimes happens in midlife, is it true that your tongue actually gets fat, and that is why you have trouble sleeping?
So it's not just the tongue, it's also the supporting structures of the back of the throat.
Okay.
But think about when you gain weight, you don't just gain weight in one spot.
Sure.
So it's this total distribution, but the redistribution of fat, let's say, tends to happen more around the belly and the abdomen. And so that contributes to our inability to do this type of breathing that we do when we're sleeping.
Got it. Okay. That
So
makes sense.
what do you do about it? So what's the cure? What's not the cure? How do you solve your sleep?
So I have a really low threshold for testing women for sleep apnea. I have had in my patients, I've had so many literally come to tears because they have been to one doctor after another. They've been told that, well, just live with it. There's nothing we can do. There is always something you can do to help somebody sleep. And so I test women, and most of the time I will find mild obstructive sleep apnea if somebody has these symptoms related to sleep apnea in women, like fatigue, insomnia, some mild snoring. Women don't like to say that they snore, they purr. Women like to say,
I think I've been
"Well,
accused of snoring,
I
and I have
purr
a friend
little
who
bit."
really snores. So what do you prescribe for these women who are?
So if you're going to treat sleep apnea, there's a whole host of different treatment options. You know, the one that everybody knows about is continuous positive airway pressure, or CPAP. But, you know, I find that in women who have mild or simple moderate obstructive sleep apnea, that they could very well use an oral appliance. And those aren't talked about as much because,
That's the thing with the jaw.
yeah, but there's a whole bunch of different kinds. So there's not just one kind of oral appliance, there's well over 20 different kinds. You really want to go see a dentist who understands sleep apnea, who can, it's all about precision. You want to find something that fits in your mouth, right? And that really works to help bring that lower jaw forward just a tiny bit in millimeters to open up the back of the airway.
And what about like supplements? Like I take magnesium every night. I mean, all of those. You should be doing all of that. I mean, I find that helps me, but maybe it's all in my head. I think it's helping me, and it's really not.
You know, supplements are great adjuncts
Yeah.
to helping the longevity, right? What I like to focus on is if that is helping you maintain quality, then that's what's important.
Yeah.
Because part of my job is to help you have the highest quality of life for as long as you're living on this planet.
Yeah.
Because there's one thing around longevity, there's another thing around quality.
Yeah.
We want high quality.
Yeah.
But how do you know? I mean, how do people? Because you're saying like, you know, women aren't, they're not seeing you for these things because they don't even know it's happening. How would a person, like, let's say, I mean, I'm tired all the time, right? But I wouldn't think like, let me go to the doctor and find out why I'm tired. How do you empower women to even recognize that there might be an issue?
Well, this podcast is one way. So we need to raise awareness.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
again, going back to that normalization of women suffering.
Yes.
Yeah.
So being fatigued all the time shouldn't be normal.
Right, shouldn't be
Right.
normal.
Wow.
Yeah. And
So-
then you're right, as women, we just expect like, oh, we're just
Yeah.
tired.
We
and
tolerate
should,
it.
Yeah, we should deal with
We tolerate not feeling well. We
Yeah.
tolerate waking up in the middle of the night. We tolerate only getting 4 or 5 hours of sleep
Yeah.
because we're told that, well, that's just life.
it. Right.
Totally.
And it's not.
It's
Doesn't have to
not.
be.
It's not.
Well, that
I love that.
I do too, and maybe I will start to think more about
I
it.
know.
Maybe I'll come see you.
I know.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
You're
so much
welcome
for
being
stopping
here.
in. We are here with Dr. Vonda Wright, who is the queen of all things your skeleton orthopedics.
I'll take skeleton. I'll take that. Yeah. Talk to us about, obviously you're an orthopedist, orthopedic surgeon. What do women not know when they're going through perimenopause, menopause about their bone health, and what should they know?
You know what? I don't think anybody knows much anything about bone health unless we're in Fashion Week in New York or Paris, and you're like, oh, look at my gorgeous cheekbones, or my, the collarbones, right?
Yeah.
I don't think anybody thinks about bones, and yet bones are not just structural. They're not just what give us human form, because everybody's talking about muscle, including myself. I had a muscle stem cell lab for years, but muscle without bone is a heaping pile of steaming metabolic tissue. It's nothing, right? It's like a chicken breast on your cabinet. With bones, we look like humans. Isn't that funny? You're never going to forget that.
Never
right?
gonna forget that.
So muscle and bone actually are cousins. They talk to each other all the time. So every time you contract a muscle, it talks to the bone, it builds the bone, but bone is an incubator. It makes all of your blood cells. It's so critical. It's a storehouse. It has all of the minerals that your body needs. It is a master communicator, meaning it secretes hormones. One of the hormones I like to talk about is osteocalcin, which goes to your brain and builds a better brain, works with your pancreas and your muscle on glucose metabolism and insulin, right? If you're a man, it goes to your testes and helps you make testosterone, and is critical for things like telling you you're full. So bones are not thought of usually until your grandma falls down and breaks her hip.
Yeah.
And then it's all the whole family can think about.
Yeah.
the reality is bone health starts in our teenage years. I have a lot of very young women who never build enough bone density because we're taught to be this big and we don't need enough. And maybe we didn't have our periods, right? And so we don't build to peak bone mass. And then in perimenopause, because estrogen walks out the door and never says hello again, she's like, slam the door, I'm so done with you.
I don't want to be with you anymore.
We can lose 20% of our bone density. Wow. So if we don't build it in our youth, we're going to lose it in perimenopause. And then it's possible to build, but it's really, really hard. So I like to talk about this with people like my 18-year-old daughter, my 31-year-old daughter, all the women in between. It's that critical.
Yeah. So is it possible, and what does it look like when you are older? Like, let's say, you start exercising when you're 45.
Sure.
Can you still build bone? Will that still be meaningful?
Yeah, you can still make meaningful change no matter what age or skill level you are. You can make meaningful change because our bodies are designed to improve. And the stress that we put on it can be strategic. So when I think of building muscle and bone, there are three main things. We need to make our hormone optimization decision. We need to lift heavy weights. And when it comes to bone in specific, we need to jump up and down from about an 8-inch step. And then let's not forget, people listening, bones are 50% protein. So not only do we need to eat protein to make muscle, we need it to make bone.
That is a very little known fact.
It's incredible.
Like so crazy.
Yeah, nobody knows anything about bones until
They
now.
don't. Until now, they're going to all know about it now.
Everything.
They're going to know it all.
Everybody's going to know.
You talk about lifting heavy weights a lot.
Yeah,
Right.
I do.
What do you mean by that?
Right. So let's think about why we lift weights at all. Well, if somebody has told you to pick up a mamby-pamby pink weight that weighs 5 pounds, that is less than the Stanley Cup that you take to work with all your stuff in it, right?
Believe me.
Right?
I have that bag.
Or the purse,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And lift it 30 times.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to help you build endurance. Which is fine. It's not what we need when we're old, but fine. If you've been taught over time to do reps of 10 to 15, that will help build bigger muscle mass because you damage your muscle enough before you fail that it builds bigger muscles. Fine, if that's your goal. In midlife and beyond, 45 and beyond, I contend to you that your goals are strength and power. Strength to do what you want, when you want to do it, ask for help only if you want to, take a wheelchair in the airport because you want to be first in line, not because you have to.
I love that.
It's a strategy.
Yes. I have a friend who used that strategy, by the way.
Exactly. So we're building strength and power. Power means strength over time so we don't fall down, break a hip, end up in a nursing home. To do that, we must lift heavy. Heavy means failing at between 3 and 6 lifts. So it's heavy.
Right.
And every woman's heavy is different. You have to play around with it.
Yeah.
If you're an adult onset exerciser, which we talked about previously.
I love the phrase adult onset. I work with someone who uses that phrase a lot.
Oh, really?
Yes. And I love that because I feel like that's, I mean, I've exercised my whole life, but until, I would say the last few years, I'm what you described as the
You weren't
adult
serious. You were an adult onset
It's really
exerciser.
like getting drilled into me.
That's right. It's time.
Yeah.
It's time to do it. And so there is never an age or skill level when you cannot make improvements. You're going to have to, if you're truly an adult onset exerciser, it may take you 3 months, 6 months, a year to work up to lifting 4 reps, 4 sets of heavy weight.
Right.
Yeah. Is this the female femur?
I don't know. It's a sawbone, but you know what? This is the top. This is the part that fits into your
hip.
pelvis.
Yep.
That's your knee. And this is the longest bone in your body. You know, fun fact, when we're young, our bone cells are made in this.
Oh, wow.
In our femur and our pelvis. And then as we age, the marrow turns fat. You ever had that in a restaurant? You know, beef marrow.
I love bone marrow.
She does. She loves
That's
it.
a femur
that.
bone.
That's the one chew on this?
Yes. No. My dog's my.
Yeah. Isn't that fascinating?
That is fascinating.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's very cool.
I carry it around as a prop sometimes.
Yes,
People
as
come
you
to
should.
expend it.
No,
to
it's-
expect
I
it.
think they would expect it. I mean, they're the bone girl, bone woman.
We were talking about myths around menopause, postmenopausal health that you are starting to kind of dismantle, I think, and what the science actually tells us about our capacity to build strength, to build resilience, and all of that in this phase of life.
So I like to talk about the progression of time in a person or aging by first saying that men and women age completely differently. You know, that book from so many years ago, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, that is true down to the cellular level. That is down to the aging we do. And the reason we age differently, although having different genetics, is because of our hormones. So I no longer think of hormones, estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, as only relating to menopause. I now frame that as it's part of our aging process. And it's what makes men who lose their testosterone in a slow, steady decline, about 1% per year, versus women who after 30 have a little plateau, a crazy drop in our estrogen, and then nothing. Wow. And estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone are so critical for every tissue in our body that it causes a rapid aging when estrogen leaves. Every tissue in our body has estrogen receptors, alpha and beta. So when there's no estrogen sitting in that, in our brain, for instance, the estrogen receptors, which I like to think of them, it's the work of Lisa Mosconi. It's like sprinkles on a cupcake, right? They're everywhere. Isn't she brilliant?
So brilliant. Yeah.
I love that woman. And then, so she identified that there are estrogen receptors all over the brain. The work of another brilliant female scientist, Robbie Brinton, showed us that without estrogen, the brain starves. Wow. So no wonder we have brain fog. I can't remember the nouns, the names of things, because it's a real process. It's not you're going crazy. It's not you're just getting old. It is a lack of a critical hormone. So that's, that's a brain effect. Without estrogen, our heart has about 30 to 40% more heart disease. The number one killer of men and women is heart disease, right? Number 3, we have metabolic dysregulation, right? We become less insulin sensitive. We don't handle our glucose well. On top of that, we're losing 8% of our muscle mass per decade, if at a minimum, which is a critical metabolic organ. So do you see how all these things fit together? Not to mention the fact we lose 20% of our bone density. Yeah. So these things all add up to make the way men and women age completely differently. Sure. Yeah.
I feel like we get the short end of the stick a little bit.
We do sometimes.
Short end of the femur.
The interesting, the short end of the femur. The oddity in this conversation is that women already win the longevity race.
Yes.
We live 4 to 6 years longer than men.
Yeah.
But we suffer for 20 years.
Gonna say,
we live longer, but not in good health.
Not in good health.
Yeah. So my whole conversation now has really pivoted to prevention. Perimenopause as an opportunity to prevent the things that make women suffer in the last 20 years of their life. Yeah. And there's this critical time between 35 and 45, I call the critical decade, to really get our health standards up, right? If we've never paid attention to it before, it's time. We still have enough hormones before they start to walk out. So that is the new mindset that I'm using around this.
Yeah, that's great. Because I feel like women don't, I didn't for sure when I was that age. I never thought about it.
I didn't. And you would think I would because I'm an aging researcher. All my work has been in aging.
Yeah.
I don't know that I ever thought I would age.
Same.
I think everyone feels like that.
Yeah.
But it was so funny because I'm 62.
Yeah.
And I don't feel 62.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think about the actual number that I am, and I find it so impossible to believe.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
I'm
how
so
could
vibrant.
that
How
be?
can it be?
Like, I feel young, I act young, I do things that younger people do. And
you have younger friends.
I have younger friends.
Don't forget
which
that.
I'm never allowed to forget, by the way.
You're not.
But I just really, it boggles my mind that I'm that age, that it just doesn't sink in.
Because I feel the same way. And maybe it's because we were raised in a generation where it was strange for this woman, my small town in Kansas, Millie Hartung. I was raised in Kansas. There were road races.
Yeah.
And there was this lady, Millie Hartung, who was so frigging old, right? So old. And we would wait for her to come in, making sure she didn't die by the side of the road. It turns out Millie Hartung was 60 years old.
I was like waiting for the punchline. Yeah, I know. Well, I've said that. I said that recently to Jen, that my first boss, when I was 21 years old, out of college, my first boss was 36. And I remember it so vividly, because I was like, 36? I'm never going to be 36. Meanwhile, I'd give anything to be 36 right now.
And start on HRT when you're 46.
How about that?
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
Well, that's the biggest piece for
Well,
me.
yeah.
Is like these women are so lucky. These younger women coming up are so lucky that doctors like you are doing this research and you're spreading this information because we didn't know this. And I mean, I would have done so many things differently. I mean, as a personal trainer and nutritionist, things we were taught when we were going through school was like cardio, aerobics, cardio, lose fat.
Cardio.
Yeah.
All that.
And I would never. I mean, it's like now you just you know better, you do better, I guess.
Right.
But so I love that. I love that work. I love that you're doing this.
I think I skipped the answer to your question. Is there ever a time when it's too late?
Yeah.
Actually, the first, as a musculoskeletal aging and longevity researcher, as I started doing that work in the literature, some of the very first studies on aging and aging well, or could you reverse function?
Yeah.
We're in 90-year-old men in a nursing home who couldn't get up from a chair. And so Maria Fair-Terone was the researcher. She sent her crew in. They did 6 weeks of chair exercises with these guys, and they improved their function 150%.
Wow.
I mean, so if we can in 6 weeks make significant change in 90-year-olds, it just proves that our bodies are always up for a good game. Yeah.
They want to stay. I mean, maybe
our
our bodies want to stay.
Oh, yeah.
They don't want.
They'll adjust.
Yeah.
It'll adjust.
It adjusts
really
to
do.
anything. I mean, whatever you put in your body, it adjusts to it. Whatever stresses or taxing you put on it, it adjusts. But we wanted to ask you. So this big craze right now with women and weighted vests.
Oh, how about that?
What are your thoughts on a weighted vest?
You know what? I have weighted vests. I do love to wear it. I have some thoughts, and one's going to surprise you. Number one, the data are sparse and in very small studies. I can't tell you there's 15 million women in a randomized controlled trial not existing. There are small studies that show that a weighted vest plus weight lifting will increase bone density in postmenopausal women. Not alone, with weightlifting.
Does that mean you're wearing the weighted vest while
you're weightlifting? Yes. So there's that. However, we know weightlifting alone will build bone density.
Right.
But here's why I like weighted vest. I think it's a good entry level thing for people who are now walking consistently. They want to increase their workload about 10%. Put on a weighted vest. Start with 10% of your body weight and work up. So that's number one. I think now it's kind of a status symbol, lycra pants and a weighted vest. I'm in an exercising crowd, whatever it takes. I don't care.
Yeah.
Put it on, go out, invest in yourself.
Yeah.
Here's a surprising thing I love about it. There are weighted vests of various kinds, the little strappy kinds. Well, I have one by, and it doesn't matter who it's by, but it's a full zip one. It zips up the front.
Yes, I've seen
And
those.
it has little ski cross ties here, like you're putting on ski boats and you're like cranking it tight.
Yeah.
The first time I put that on, I felt like I was getting a hug.
Yeah.
And I was calm. I wore it around all day.
Yeah,
and my daughter's like, what are you wearing your vest in the house for?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. I feel
Feels
like I have a
good.
little hug going
Yeah.
on. And then I talked to the manufacturer of this particular kind. He's like, do you know families with children on the spectrum are using these weighted vests because it hugs the person?
Yes.
Have you heard that
Yes.
before?
Well, literally,
Because
we
you're like,
interviewed.
yes.
Well, because
Two
the
things.
other day.
Two things. One, I have a friend, one of my best friends has an autistic daughter, and that she did that
She
when she was
uses
younger.
that?
She used
Yes.
used the weighted vest.
And
And
secondly,
then, yesterday.
2 days ago or yesterday, we interviewed someone about trauma and trauma body and how trauma affects your body and how to treat your body that's gone through trauma.
Yeah.
She said exactly that.
Really?
She's like,
She had us do an
She had to do
exercise.
this exercise where we put like a pillow and you press and the more pressure and you had to find the place, but you felt your whole body relax.
Just relax. Yeah.
From that.
Yes.
Yeah. Because it feels safe. Your body naturally
There's
wants
something
to feel
about
safe.
You know, it might be the same thing with a weighted blanket.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what she
Did she say
said.
that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I love
Same
mine.
idea.
I don't sleep without it, although my husband thinks it almost ruined our marriage.
No, wait, let me ask you this. You don't feel like suffocated by it?
Claustrophobic in it?
I don't.
No.
It's a 10-pound blanket.
Okay.
It's just enough pressure.
Yeah.
You know, we have this crazy, now listen, I am a post-menopausal woman, so we have this crazy cooling blanket. And I put my weighted blanket
my
on
God.
top. It's like, and I'm out like that.
Well, yes, we have these cooling beds, and ever since we got them, I mean, oh my God.
Separately. We don't live
We
together.
don't live together. We're not a
I
couple.
don't know you, but great. Good for you.
I mean, the way you say that. We got this. Not together. We don't live together. We are not together.
Separate apartments.
Yes.
We are not a couple. She has a boyfriend who's a sweetheart. A divorce.
He also loves the cooling bed.
But the cooling. But ever since that is a game changer.
I know. I know.
Well, the fact that you can adjust the temperature to like your because he likes it to be warmer than I do, which is kind of funny. But
isn't that funny?
Yeah, it's very funny.
Yeah.
All right, so weighted vests are a yes.
They're okay.
They're okay, just not for the way most people think, it's going to build better bone.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess, we're here at this menopause summit. Like, what do you want, after you've just spoken to women, what do you want them, what's the number one thing you want them to take away?
Sorry, two things.
Yeah.
There is never an age or skill level when the strategic stress you apply to your body, whether that's eating protein, lifting weights, jumping around to build better bones, when your body will not respond, because your body is designed to live and survive. So you feed it strategic stress, and it's going to do that. Number two, you've got to do that, right? For women, we are so conditioned and so oxytocin to take care of everybody, whether it's on our job, in our community, that we don't take care of ourselves. And I just want women who listen to me to understand that you are worth the daily investment in yourself. You are worth it.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Yes.
So it's been a minute since we've been back from the summit. We've had a little time to process, which I'm not even sure I'm fully processed all that we've talked.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I mean, we got to talk to all of the rock star doctors.
I know. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm just like, I'm still kind of like reeling from it a little bit. Like I was sick that weekend and, but it didn't take away from the fact that we had some amazing interviews.
Yeah.
We got to talk to Tamsen again. We got to talk to Dr. Mary Claire Haver again.
Yeah.
It was just such a fun, I mean, I never thought I would say menopause is fun.
I know. And it's like we're rounding out Menopause Awareness Month with this episode. And so now as we look back at that and when this is coming out at the end of October, I mean, what a different world that it is now.
Totally.
Totally.
And it's so great for like the women that are coming up into this, the perimenopausal women, and even premenopausal women,
I know.
just getting to know all the things that we are just learning. And it's like, not that it's too late. I mean, you can always, employ some of these strategies and tactics and stuff, but it's even better for the women that are up and coming, and they seem to be interested because there was that perimenopause event before.
That's right, the night before, hosted by Mary Claire Haver, Dr. Mary Claire Haver, and Tamsen also realized the need for another documentary to follow up the M Factor with like
perimenopause.
a whole perimenopause documentary. And so, women in their 30s and 40s want to know all the things that I didn't know.
Yeah.
And how it's changed and how people talk about it. And I don't know, like we were saying that these doctors are like the new celebrities. Like when Dr. Kelly Casperson gets on the stage,
people are cheering for her.
They're cheering. They're like yelling that, Dr. Vonda Wright is jumping around with a bone,
with the femur.
With the femur. And that women are getting excited about taking care of themselves and their health.
Well, I think also that they're feeling so empowered now to do that.
Yes.
Not only like advocating for themselves, but just also knowing what questions to ask and knowing the things like some of the symptoms that we didn't know. I mean, I didn't know about burning tongue until Tamsen.
I know, said that. And also how to be your own advocate, how the doctor you have might not be the right doctor for you, how to really look for the doctor that is going to listen to you and treat you in a way that's healthy for you.
Yeah.
And you alone.
Yeah.
You know?
And research is starting to come along. I mean, it's nowhere near where it should be yet, but it's I think it's moving
Super
in the right
exciting.
direction, hopefully. Yeah.
You know, at the end, we asked all the women what they hope to take away. And I think what I think we've just said what we take away: how to feel empowered, how to feel to be your own advocate, how to feel strong, how to feel smart and not crazy, right?
Not crazy.
And
yeah.
not broken.
Yeah, and a lot of the things that they we talked to Dr. Kelly Casperson about a topic that we never talk about on this
Never talk
podcast.
about, I know.
Intimacy and sex in midlife, and some of the things that she was saying, I had no idea that those things happened to a woman.
Well, someone's luckier than some of us that are not as lucky. So you could take that away.
But maybe it will happen to me at some point. I don't know. But now I'm prepared.
Now you know.
So more than I wanted to know.
I know.
But,
so I guess we hope that you took away as much as we did sitting face to face. There's nothing like sitting face to face with someone. I know our episodes, we talk to a lot of people virtually because they're not here. They're not in New York. And we don't have a proper place to really interview them. But the opportunity
or the proper budget to do it.
That's true. That's true too. But to really sit face to face, and ask the questions we wanted to ask.
Yeah,
was very exciting and very.
It was a lot of fun.
We walked away. We were psyched.
Yeah. We definitely had a great time doing that and just feeling like we were part of the conversation.
Yeah.
And
we are. Everybody Talks is at the table.
We are. We're at the menopause table.
Yeah.
Again, not a place I ever thought I'd be, but
there you are.
Here we are.
So we hope you got as much out of it as we know that we did. So thanks for listening. I'm Lori Schulweiss.
And I'm Jen Giamo.
And this was Everybody Talks.
Talk to you next time.
Take care.
For more information about our podcast, to learn more about us, or to catch up on all of our episodes, go to our website at everybodytalkspodcast.com.
Follow us on Instagram at Shirley, at Jen Giamo, and at Everybody Talks. And if you want to watch today's episode, go to our YouTube channel at Everybody Talks Podcast.
If you want to be a part of the conversation, join the Everybody Talks community and become an exclusive member of our wellness group. Check out the link in our show notes to learn more.
Don't forget, if you like what you've heard, give us a 5-star rating, write a review, and tell a friend. We're for everybody and everybody. The Everybody Talks podcast is co-created, executive produced, and hosted by us, Lori Schulweiss and Jen Giamo. Produced and edited by Station 16.
Our theme song music is written and performed by Jackie Ryle and Aaron Navisi, with additional support from our pups, Oliver, Milo, Murray, and Frankie.
Talk to you next time.